Okay guys, so we are going to be doing another one of these drive along, ride along things. Last video that we did, we looked at a church and then we went over to a job that we were doing. It was a roof job, and I told you what we quoted on those. I told you, kind of my thought process on the quoting process of the church. Well, today we're going to do two more things. So the first stop is we're going to run over and we are going to look at a hotel that called us. They found us on Google, and we're going to be giving them a quote. So next, after that, we are going to be running back to the church that you guys saw in the last video where we did the walkthrough. I kind of explained my process, like I said, on the quoting and how we were going to go about pricing this. We actually ended up sealing the deal. They actually wanted to get started almost immediately, but we had a snowstorm, so we had to wait for the snow to stop, melt away, and we are back out today to go ahead and knock that church out. They opted not to go with the concrete or the building. They said they've got people that can do the concrete for them, but they did hire us for the roof, and they hired us to do all of the gutters. And I had quoted them $3,800. They kind of hemmed, it kind of hawed, asked if there was any kind of discount for a church, and I said, I am a God-fearing Christian, therefore I will give them $100 off, right? So we're gonna go check out the hotel, then we're gonna go check out the church and see how that job is coming along. And make sure that you stick around until the end of this video, because I am gonna share with you my thoughts, maybe it's more of a rant, on all of the keyboard commando tough guys in the Facebook groups that talk mad shit. So I think you'll wanna stick around for that one. Let's get into it. So a couple things that are kind of new and exciting. We have done a bunch of cool updates within Quote IQ. We've got something now that's called the Client Hub, and basically what this does is it keeps all texting, all communication with the customer in-app, so you're not using your personal phone, you're not having to use a business phone, it's all within the app. Keeps everything in one consolidated place, so we're excited about that. You can send pictures, estimates, invoices, everything that you would normally through your text messaging. We've also debuted How to Wash 2, which is for both commercial and residential. It's all brand new. It's like 10 hours of the most in-depth training that you can get for soft washing and pressure washing, from the equipment to the chemicals, how to mix, the strategies that we use to be as efficient as possible. I'm excited and very proud of that. Another thing that is brand new that we've just kind of put out there, basically a mastermind, if you will, kind of a mentorship group. It's going to be very small. There's going to be a lot of one-on-one in the group, but you're also going to get a shit ton of our best stuff, right? This is the stuff that we don't teach on YouTube. These are the strategies, the sales, the marketing, the business side, which so many people struggle, right? Lots of guys have got businesses, but at the end of the day, they're still struggling. And it's the business side of things where a lot of people have the most difficulty. And so that is our main focus, right? We can teach you how to wash. We can teach you how to stripe. In my opinion, it's the things on the back end that make all of the difference. And, a lot of people say, Mike, you're always selling shit. And guess what? Yes, I'm always selling something. Do you know why? Because that's what we do. And if you're watching this, you probably have some sort of business, and it is your job to sell. So take notes and implement some of the strategies that I use as far as my sales, right? As far as my getting my businesses out there. The techniques that we use as far as email and text automation, these are all things that you can also implement in your own business that is going to help you reach more people, that is going to help you close more sales, which is going to increase your average ticket price. So you may not like me, you may not like the techniques, but they work, and I think you should maybe implement some of these in your own businesses. And these are the things that we talk about in that one-on-one coaching. Anyway, that's it. Let's go check out this hotel. Okay, so we are out here at this hotel, and I didn't realize it when I got the call, but we actually cleaned this hotel probably 12, 15 years ago. There's videos of it back then. This was before I was even doing YouTube or anything, but I had videos that I was probably using for my website or for something to promote the business. But yeah, so it's kind of cool that we're back here and we're giving another quote. And honestly, it looks like it hasn't been cleaned since then. Lots of buildup on the drive it. And so again, this is going to take a soft wash process and probably 3.5%, 4% mix, I'd guess. The gutters look pretty nasty, so we're gonna have to get out there probably with that. I'm assuming we'll have to pull out the pressure washer, put on a long range tip so we can get some of the bug debris and some of the other debris that's up there off. So I'm gonna take all of that into account while I'm walking around, while I'm quoting. They also want to get an estimate on all of the sidewalks. And when you're dealing with hotels, a lot of that stuff, the sidewalks, that's something that you have to be cognizant of. You got to be aware of, because they're going to have cars parked here, and a lot of times the cars are going to hang over the sidewalks. That's going to slow us down. It's not going to allow us to do as good a job. We're going to have to be more cognizant of other people's property. And with that being said, let's take a look around. So something I just noticed, there is a huge wasp's nest up there, and obviously we're not going to want to take out a ladder or get a lift or anything like that, but a long range tip with enough power is going to be able to knock that right off. But again, these are just little things. We're going to be keeping our eyes open for a water source, very important. Anything that's going to stand out, that's going to make things more difficult, like this is going to be very easy, right? Obviously, we're going to have to protect the plants. We're going to have to pre-wet. We're going to have to do all the things that we normally do during our cleaning process. But very straightforward. You've got windows. You've got no outside AC units. So this side is relatively easy. There is quite a bit of buildup. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it is dirty, and it's going to take obviously a thorough cleaning of the entire structure. Sidewalks, not terrible. There's not a lot of stains. There's not a lot of gum. There's no rust that I can tell of, that I can see at this point. And but it's definitely going to have a dramatic impact because these have not been cleaned in some time. Also, you can see rust stains coming out from the air conditioner. So there's something that's causing the rust stains. That will be a separate line item. We will definitely be able to clean that, but it's going to cost them a little bit more. So always be looking for upsells as well when you are out here walking the property, giving your estimates, and you're going to line item. Lots of wasp nests everywhere. I see them. And so the reason that I even mention the rust stains and upsells and things like that is because we have to set expectations for our customers. Now, if they expect we're going to do just a soft wash or a pressure wash or whatever, wash the building, and we do not actually remove the rust stains, and in their minds they're thinking, well, that's part of it. Well, it's not part of it. And so it's our job as business owners to tell these folks what they can expect, and we'll go from there. Case in point, look at this. They want an estimate on the concrete, right? That's concrete. They were spray painting something out here, and the spray paint is all over the concrete. That paint is not going to come up with a surface cleaning or even a wand, right? We're going to have to use a graffiti mover to get that up. And again, these are things that I'm going to point out, I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to quote them on. So again, always be looking for these things. But again, communication is probably one of the most important things. So they've got a pool area as well. So we're going to take a look to see what that entails. And they got a big bush there too. So not big, not terrible. They didn't ask about the pool deck, but of course I'm going to talk about that when I give the estimate. Another thing, if you're working with HOAs, if you're working with, places with pools, communities like that, always see about it's winter time, people aren't out at the pool. What are they doing with the chairs and the lounge chairs, right? Are they going to store them? Are they going to need them washed come springtime? Because guess what? We can do that for them. So, plant those little seeds so you can get that recurring revenue too. Okay, so I don't see a whole lot that is standing out to me. A lot of the same things that we've seen on this side of the building, some of the rust stains. You do have some paint fading in some spots, so obviously we're gonna talk to them about that because we don't want to be held accountable. So again, you're looking for potential issues, you're looking for potential upsells, and we're looking for every opportunity we can to put ourselves in a position of authority. Like, we're the guys that are going to point everything out, right? And when they're making that decision, they're getting multiple quotes. Then they'll say, oh yeah, that guy Mike, he really did know his shit, and he pointed out things that I didn't even think about, and hopefully that adds value, which might help you land the deal. Another thing that I see is they have had somebody out here, or maybe it was a maintenance guy, on this drive-it, this it's a fake stucco, if you will. Someone got a little aggressive, and you can see the wand marks way over there above that pool risks. And it's not just a pool risk, it's a risk of hiring somebody that doesn't know what the fuck they're doing, because they can fuck up stuff in a hurry. You can bleep that out. Okay, another thing that I noticed, lots of oxidation on these painted doors. And again, with oxidation, you don't want to get too close. You're going to make it really visible. But it is something also that you could tell. We don't really mess a whole lot with oxidation removal. Something to be cognizant of. Okay, so now we're on the front of the building, and they've got significant buildup. You've got buildup on the glass too. And so again, this is a great opportunity to really point that out to the customer. Say, look, we can clean all of this. You've got glass issues, you've got mildew growing on the glass. Not only do we soft wash and we pressure wash, but we also offer exterior window cleaning. Again, it's just a potential upsell. You point stuff like that out, and you might be able to get some window cleaning as well. But they might not go with that. Just be aware that, and let them know that they need to be aware that it's not going to be squeegee clean. They might expect that when they're paying us to clean their building, the windows are are going to be spot free, and they're not, right? Because we're not doing a window cleaning. With the front of this building though, you've got this is probably the lobby. I've not been inside yet, but they've got a lot going on here. So you have to take into account every aspect of the job, what it's going to take to get it done, what you're going to have to do as far as vehicle movements, hose management, things like that, because all of these things come into play on profitability, because the more efficient you can be, the more profitable you can be. So that's why we have to take into account all of these things when we're quoting. Okay, one thing that I did notice is it looks like this portico underneath here, everything is looking really clean. Like there is no debris on any of the gutters. Typically what you see in areas like this at night, they've got all the lights on, bugs, debris, everything, you know, kind of clings around the lights. You don't see that here. So they are actually keeping this really clean. This is the main entrance. Obviously, they want this to look the best. So again, that's really clean. We're not going to have to do a whole lot here. So if you look up here, so look, you've got clean gutters, and right around this corner, absolutely what I was expecting. You know, you've got all the bug debris, you've got hornet's nests, you've got mud daubers, you've got, you know, the staining on the gutters, completely different from right here. So we know that they're cleaning this, which is a good thing. One less thing that we have to, and that's a high traffic thing too. That's one of the areas where you're like, okay, what's the best day for us to come? What's the best time for us to come? With hotels, typically it's midweek because most people aren't, you know, you've got business travelers, but they're out during the day. So, you know, midweek, probably after 10 a.m. is when most people are going to tell you that they want the hotel clean. Just from logistics, it makes the most sense for them, and it makes it a lot easier for us because we're not dealing with people coming in and out, getting in and out of their cars, worrying about hoses and all the other things that we have to worry about when we're dealing with commercial properties. Okay, and so another thing that I'm just going to throw out there, and this is what makes me think about it, is they're getting deliveries here. So that means there's a receiving area. That's probably where they're bringing in stuff, like as far as food. They probably got, you know, a dumpster pad over there. So we're gonna walk over there. We're gonna see what's going on over there. And again, potential upsells. So let's go take a look. Okay, so we've got rust stains. We've got somebody was attempting to do some pressure washing. You can see the telltale signs of a wand and no pre-treatment, obviously. You can see it all the way down this side. This is the first time we've really seen it, but we've also got the most buildup here because it gets the, you know, the least amount of sunlight. We've got easy access all along the building, so we're not, you know, being impacted by bushes right up against buildings. That's really nice. And this is what I was talking about. So they just had this sealed. That looks nice. But they do have a high traffic area here with the concrete. That's going to take a little bit more work, but it's nice because it slopes down, all of this slopes down. So we're going to throw in an estimate for cleaning out the dumpster pad area as well. And, you know, again, just different little line items, but communicating what you're going to be doing with these folks so they don't see the bottom line and say, oh, that's outrageous. You want to have a conversation, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to see if he's here. If he is, we'll talk with him. If not, I'll give him a call or text him. So that's really it. Those are the main things that I look for when I'm out here quoting, and I hope it helps. So let's go over and check out that church. So as far as a price on that, you know, I'm a little hesitant to give pricing simply because all of our markets vary, right? And you need to understand your business, your overhead, all the things that make up what you're going to charge, right? That's really important. And national averages are great and all, but you know, every market's different and every business is different. But you know, for a building that size, just for the building, not the rust removal, not any of the other upsells or anything else that we were talking about, I'm right at about $6,500. And for the concrete, 65, not including the pool deck, I'd probably add on another 1,500. And that's what I'm going to quote. I'm also going to give them a couple different little upsells to see if we can't get that price up. And if you guys want to know exactly how I quote, the conversations that I have, the questions that I actually ask, get into that one-on-one coaching that Justin and I have. It's called The Collective because it is a collective of the best minds in the pressure washing business. And if you want to get in there, then definitely check out that link, hop in. But I'll let you guys know how this bid goes. And like I said, we're heading over to the church right now. All right, Max, so you've already done the gutters on this side of the building?
Yes.
So you're doing gutter section and then you're doing the roof, right?
Correct.
Just methodically working your way around. That's smart. Good stuff. Okay, so we've done a lot of metal roofs, and because of that, we know what it takes to get these things clean. This one has got some pretty significant buildup, black algae, glowio-capsamagma, and so Mac knows from experience that he's gonna have to amp up the juice on the mix. So he's got this at probably about 5% and he started at 5%. He didn't need to adjust because he knew what it was gonna take. Okay, so as you can see, we're using the AR-45. We've got our proportioner, like I said, 5%. As you can see, that side is already dried. We've got the sun coming down on this side, which means, you know, that roof is gonna be quite a bit hotter, but it already looks 90% better than it did. And one of the things with these metal roofs is you've got all of these ridges here, and because of that, you kind of got to get both sides of them. So, you know, we're using a ladder just because Matt could probably hit all the way to the top from the ground, but he was up there with the gutter, so this is just going to make him a little bit easier. And we do not like to walk on metal roofs. They get really slick, especially when you're applying your sodium hypochlorite. And so because of that, we just want to be very cautious and take every safety precaution we possibly can so we don't hurt ourselves, because it's just not worth it. Okay, so if you guys remember from the video that we were quoting, here are all of the trees and shit that were growing out of the gutters, right? And so a lot of times when we're doing gutter cleanouts, we'll just throw it down on the ground. But in this scenario, there wasn't that much. The gutters weren't completely packed. So we're just gonna, you know, take our bags up, we're gonna bag it all up, make our life a lot easier by not throwing all this down and creating a bigger mess, because obviously you're gonna have to clean all that up because we gotta leave it better than we came. So smart move, Mac. Let me know if you need anything. So one of the things that I think is kind of funny, and I hear about it all the time, comment sections, people like email me and stuff, and people will reference the fact that the guys in the Facebook groups, they hate me and they talk mad shit. And I get that, I understand that, right? And it is what it is, right? I put myself out there, I promote things, my own things. I don't promote anything for anybody else. And with all that being said, a lot of guys don't like me, but the craziest thing is the fact when, and this is the one that like I just don't understand, and you know, we hear that term all the time, keyboard commandos, internet tough guys and all that stuff, and it's unbelievable how prevalent and how real that actually is. Like, what I do is I never call anybody out publicly. I would never, you know, roll my the messages that I'm about to tell you about for public consumption, because that's just not what I would do, because that's just kind of shitty. Like, I'm not going to put people's names out there and talk crap about people because they're cowardly. But what's crazy is when I do see something in these groups, and not specifically about me or my How to Wash 2 or any of that stuff, but Quote IQ specifically, you know, people are constantly saying, hey, what CRM do you use? What CRM should I use? How are you guys sending invoices, estimates, doing all these things, right? And people will say this one, this one, this one, and there will be Quote IQ, Quote IQ, Quote IQ. And then I'll hear people comment and talk smack about Quote IQ. And 99% of it is because my face is associated with it, right? I am the co-founder of Quote IQ, and because of that, there's a target, right? Quote IQ is not a shitty product, and I you know, we all went through growing pains as we, you know, grew our businesses, and yes, there were issues, and yes, we work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to make this the best app for all home service businesses. But this is the funny thing, and this is why I'm even saying anything, is because when I do see these names and they're saying, you know, oh, this was terrible, they're scammers, it's this, it's that, it's the other, and I message them privately and I send them a message, 99.9% of these keyboard commandos, they get the DM. I know they get it, but they don't respond because A, they're cowards, B, they got nothing to say because they never even use the app. They just don't like this face, and I get it. It's not a face that a lot of people like. My mom doesn't even like my face. It's the truth. But again, stop talking shit. But if you do, at least, you know, have some legitimacy to your statements. And if somebody sends you a message and says, hey man, just wanted to see what the issue was, at least have the balls to say, man, I'm just an asshole and I don't have anything to say because I'm just talking shit on the internet. So that's my rant for the day. See ya.